Hey everyone, welcome to Zodiac Zone, where you're going to get 30 minutes of astrological insight. So, a couple things I want to talk about tonight. First, we're going to have a new moon in Leo, along with Mercury retrograde. That's a lot of energy, don't you think? Especially a lot of friends and clients contact me during Mercury retrograde and they're like, "Oh my god, I what is going to happen with this retrograde?" First of all, it's stationed in Leo. So Leo is everything about it's ruled by the sun, and it's everything about us, how we love, how we show ourselves. So when Mercury retrograde is in Leo, it's really one of those things that we're going to think of, like, why are all the eyes on us? And a lot of people are going to go into their ego. They're going to think with their ego when they normally don't think with their ego. So I would say, watch out for that. um and watch out for, it's always about with Mercury, communication. And I always tell people to plan ahead, for anything can go wrong, because it's communication. It could be technology issues. And typically there's a 2-week shadow period before and after the retrograde. So I don't know about you, about everybody else, but I've been having problems with technology. I've been, canceled, like trips can get kind of funky as far as travel. So just be very mindful of all these things going on right now with this energy. I mean, here's the thing. I had a very close friend she is buying and selling her house, and she started freaking out. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this is all happening during the retrograde. What do I do?" And here's the way it works. She started the process of looking for a house and selling her house way before the retrograde started. So if you do something like that, it's fine. The contract is already kind of done, it's already finished as far as this is what you want to do. Now you're just kind of going through the motions of buying or selling a house. The thing not to do is to decide during the retrograde, okay, I want to start the process. It's really not about that. It's really about kind of taking a step back and looking at what kind of reviewing what needs to be done. Because a lot of times, like I said, the communication during a retrograde can be kind of funky, and you're not going to necessarily get the communication correct. It could be a problem. So you would just want to make sure that um, cover all these bases, as far as, hey, just take some time, review what you're doing, and then probably start the process. Start the process after. But if you're during the process, you're going to be okay. So don't listen to all the noise out there and, oh my god, it's a retrograde and the sky is falling. It doesn't work like that in astrology. As far as the new moon in Leo, I think, is going to be really amazing. And the reason why I say this is because it's really, Leo is about finding your heart, doing something very heart centered, doing something that you love, that you feel very, very passionate about. And with this new moon starting on Sunday, this is something where you can find joy in things, find joy in somebody you love, find joy in something that you wanted to do or love, and really go deep with yourself. Where is it that you find joy? Where is it that you're going to be at your highest vibration? And that is really, I believe, what this new moon is about. So, what I tell my clients and what I tell people is, here's a time to kind of write out very specifically what you want. You know, we all have this amazing power to manifest. Unfortunately, manifesting has been kind of overused and demonized and made to look kind of stupid and silly. but it's really not. It's a technique that goes back many, many years ago, and it does work, but you have to be very heart-centered. You have to believe in what you're manifesting. It's not like, "Oh, I just wanna win the lottery and I'm gonna manifest it." That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about deep heart-centered coherence where you feel something and you know that it's gonna happen in the best time for you. So what I suggest is to write the this whatever this is for you down and be very specific. And what you want to do is possibly write it on a piece of paper and fold it towards you, fold it towards your heart, and go outside and put it under like where, the moon can shine on it, and, put it out there to the universe. Whatever this is that you desire. I know that I've tried this technique many times, and I was very surprised that, wow, I have this amazing ability to do this. And it's not just me, this is for you as well. So, those are some of the things that I wanted to kind of say tonight. I mean, this weekend is going to be really good and really interesting because at one point you're going to have this confusion, this ego kind of stepping in to, you know, what you're doing. And then at another point, you're going to have to go deep inside who you are and what you're trying to manifest, and also what is going to where you're going to be heart centered and where you're going to feel the best about yourself and love yourself. So that is the key. So those are the things I wanted to share with you tonight. Um, do I have Brittany
Yes.
for my
Hi.
first? Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Um, did some of that resonate with you tonight, Brittany, as far as really finding your heart and doing, going out and taking advantage of this new moon in Leo?
Yes. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I suggest you do that. And again, like I said, I was saying, it could be feel a little uneasy because we have a Mercury retrograde in Leo as well. So it's kind of like checking our ego and saying, no, that's not what the ego, or that's not what the ego necessarily wants. It's really what your higher self and what you feel kind of drawn to. So anyway, um, okay. So what I'm going to do now is readings. I'm a vibrational evolutionary astrologer, so I focus really on the sole purpose of why you're here. Um, so when is your birthday, day, month, year?
It is July 16th, 1993.
July 16th, 1993. Okay. And the time you were born?
I think it was in the morning, like maybe 7 a.m., but I'm not quite sure.
Okay. We could try it. And then, so typically what I tell my clients is the time is the most important part of it because the planets can change houses depending on what degree that they're on. Anywhere
Okay.
from 3 minutes to, I mean, obviously a PM chart is going to look very different from an AM chart. So, but we can try this. So about
Okay.
7:03 AM.
Yeah, I know that she had like an appointment and she went in like, so it was planned. So I'm pretty sure it was in the morning. So yeah, maybe 7 a.m.
Okay. And the city state.
It was Hagerstown, Maryland.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm sorry, you
Oh,
said city state.
Tigersville.
Yeah, Hagerstown, like Hagerstown, Maryland, HagerstowN.
Hagerstown. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Sounded like Tiger's Town, sorry. Okay, Hagerstown, Maryland, got it. Okay, let me just see something. I just like to check this. Let me move myself here. Um, hang on 2 seconds, sorry about this. I just wanted to see the elements in your, chart. I wanted to see if you had a night, and I pretty much guessed it. Yes, you have 4, well, you have 4 planets in air. Okay. So I'm going to talk astrology and then I'm going to tell you what it means in layman's terms. So
Okay.
your south node is in Gemini in the 11th house. The 11th house is about our hopes and dreams, it's about groups of people, friends. And your north node is in Sagittarius in the fifth house. The fifth house is it's ruled by Leo, yours is ruled by Sagittarius. It's really about the heart-centered things that we were just talking about, you know, finding your heart, enjoyment in life, children, things like that. So I would say with 4 planets in air, you're a lot in your mind, you know, and especially
Yes.
with that south
Okay.
node in Gemini, where you have probably a lot of scattered thinking. Like sometimes it's very hard for you to concentrate. And
Mhm.
I feel like, especially probably most likely in a group, you know, you could be very distracted. Like people can distract you.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
but you have this sense of, like, you have this sense of you know what to do, like as far as keeping up with the collective, like it's automatically in you. You're very logical, the way you think, the way you act, the way you kind of process things. But in this lifetime, like I said in the beginning of the broadcast here, it's really about finding purpose and doing something that you love, something that's very heart centered, looking at the big picture of something and saying, wow, this is what this just fills my heart up and this is what I need to do. Does that resonate with you?
Yes. Yeah, it does. I'm like thinking about like my career, and you're saying like things that I love to do, and I'm kind of thinking like, is this what I'm supposed to do like with the rest of my life? Like, and I am a little scattered brain, like thinking about different kind of things. I kind of should focus more on one thing at a time. But I don't know if I should just, because I'm thinking about a couple different big changes. I don't know if I should just go for it or kind of stay safe.
Yeah, I think too with the sun, you have the sun in the 12th house. And the sun in the 12th house is very powerful. I feel like that you could probably get a lot out of your dreams. Um, I would definitely recommend that you have some kind of journal by your bedside
Okay.
that you can just kind
Mhm.
of like, you know how when you're in that lucid state of dreaming where you're kind of awake but you're not really awake, and you can
Yes.
really deeply remember your journey of that dream.
Mhm.
That's when you need to grab the pen and paper and just kind of write it down. And if even if it
Okay.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything, yeah, this is
Because
where
I
you
do.
would
I have
really,
like the most vivid dreams too. Like they're so real.
yeah. And I feel
So
like
that would
that's
be
a
a good.
really, really gonna help you. That's gonna help you. And for you to be happy and fulfilled in what you do, it has to be something that you feel very heart centered about. It can't just be logical. Logical
Yeah.
will get you, it will get you where you need to be, but it's not going to fulfill you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
I think
does.
it's
Definitely, it does.
yeah, I also feel that with Saturn in the 7th house of partnership, that you have to have a serious partner, somebody that um that you feel really wants what you want and really loves
Mhm.
you, every part of you,
Yes.
otherwise it's not going to work. I don't know if you're in
Yeah.
partnership, but that's
Yeah, I am actually. We've been together for about 13 years almost, and he is, yeah, everything. Like, I'm so completely with him. Like, we are one, kind of. Like, I'm
that's
very happy.
awesome. Yeah, because that's going to be important to you to um really up your vibration, and
Mhm.
you're a nurturer. You have your Mercury's in Cancer in the 12th house. Sometimes you're not one to speak up, you kind of
Yeah.
you can be a little bit hidden sometimes and
Yeah.
but I think it's important for you, especially when you see the big picture of something and you're feeling compelled to speak about something. Do speak up, because I feel like you have a very strong intuition. You know,
Mhm.
you're a very positive person. You have Jupiter in the 3rd house, which is a really good
Mhm.
place for Jupiter. You always look to the good in things. I don't know, do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have a younger brother, an older sister, and a younger sister. And my mom was a Gemini, and my husband's a Gemini, and my mom was really like upbeat and positive, so that's kind of how I grew up, like upbeat and giddy, and you know, so
Right.
um,
No, I
yeah.
think you have probably a good do you have a good relationship with your brother?
Yeah, we didn't really talk that much, but now we're starting to really talk and really bond. Me and my younger sister are really start like we're really close. So yeah.
Mhm. No, that's awesome. No, so that's what I see in your chart. And if you've ever like to go deeper, I'm at mmastroVibes.com. We could do a
Okay.
full chart reading for you. So thank you so
Yeah,
much
that
for
would be
calling in.
wonderful. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yes, thank you.
have a have a great night.
You too. You too. Thanks.
Bye bye. Trina,
Yes. How are you?
do we have hi Trina, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So when is your birthday?
12
Day, month,
21.
year. I'm sorry?
Uh, December 21st, 1992.
December 21st, 1992.
Yep.
Okay. And what time were you born?
Oh, I do not know.
I'm sorry?
I don't know.
Do you have an idea, or do you have I could do like an estimate.
Uh, no, I don't know. I know I was born on the 21st.
Okay. I don't wanna, chance it. Definitely the time, like I was telling the other caller and at the beginning of my show, is very important, because the planets can move depending on what degree they are. They can move every couple of minutes, and the chart looks very different. If the chart is an AM to PM, it's a completely different chart. And it really depends on where the planets align in the houses. So that's why the
Oh,
time is very, very important. But if you wanted to, um, you know, go to vital statistics and look for the county that you were born in, what you would typically do is order the long form,
mhm,
and that would have your time on it. I actually had to do that for myself and both of my children because I had an approximation, um,
mhm.
but I didn't know the times that they were born.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
we could. So yeah, if you want to find that information out, and like I said to the other caller, I do personal readings, and um my site is mmastroVibes.com. So if you
Mm,
wanted
okay.
to call back in with that time.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Same to you.
Thank you. Um, So anyway, typically I do two readings, and just for all the listeners out there, the time is very, very important. I know it's not something that people have, unless they have in, their baby bracelet, or unless for some reason they have their birth certificate. I mean, people have their birth certificate, but if they have it readily available, but the time is everything. So I definitely don't like to do readings without the time. There is a way to do it in the rectification chart. Can't say that word tonight, but it's not something that I regularly like to do. In fact, when I do readings, even off the cuff, or I do various readings in St. Augustine at particular places. I ask people, what is the numbers that you feel? Give me an approximation, but I really prefer that you check it with your birth certificate because it can mean a completely different chart. So that's why, because the planets constantly move and they move around the clock. So depending on what degrees, like I said, the planets are, they can appear in different houses, and those houses mean something different. So you can have a completely different chart. So that's why it's so, so important to have the time when you call in and you want a reading from me, because I like to be as accurate as possible. Um, some other things that I think are really interesting right now that are going on, and we have a lot. I think one of the most interesting things that's going on right now is Pluto is currently in Capricorn. It's been in Capricorn since about 2008. Well, it is changing signs to Aquarius, and it is going into Aquarius, I believe, the end of November, and then it stays in Aquarius until 2043. So we're going to see some monumental changes in technology. We're going to see probably AI completely take over certain facets in certain industries. I'm sure everybody's kind of seeing this right now. So it should be interesting with a lot of the things going on in America as far as from a political standpoint and all of that. So it's going to be kind of, I've been telling people that 2024 is kind of a wild ride, and just expect the unexpected. Um, we might not see things that are going to happen this year. It might be one of those things that we're like, wow, I didn't see that coming. I'm sure that, people that are into politics and into all of this other stuff are seeing that right now. So that's going to continue to happen. I think the energy is going to, kind of slow down a little bit um, as we get into 2028 to 2030. So it's not going to always feel like this because I constantly have people say to me, oh my gosh, why is everything so unhinged? And why do I feel like this. So just know that a lot of things are going on. We had in 2022 our first Pluto return. So Pluto returns back to its place in the chart about every 248 years. So it's major shifts in this country because Pluto means death, destruction, and then transformation. So it's going to bring up to the surface everything that is um, not right with things, everything that is hidden, everything that is power versus powerlessness. So I just, if ever you get concerned about something, astrology, the beautiful thing about astrology is astrology tells a story with all of this. And I just think that it's a language that I love, that I've been looking into and studying for the last 4 years, but I've been into it my entire life. And I always look to the chart for the answers, not only from a personal and professional aspect, but also from a world aspect as everything is changing. So I tell people not to be afraid, to look inside themselves and to really find their purpose and passion and what they want to accomplish, why they're here on earth. And I think it's really important. And that's why I'm going to say once again, go out this Sunday with this new moon in Leo and really find your heart. Find something that you find purpose and passion in, and do something that you love and something that you feel really good about. Because when you're, that is going to put you at your highest vibration.